We are live. Live action coming at you from the Your Lake Fort Guide Big Bass Dojo, also known as my garage. It's Thursday night, so we're going to talk about our top baits, our game plan for this weekend for you folks at home. Might get a little weather. I don't know. I think up here we're supposed to be pretty good. Parts of East Texas are going to get some inclement weather, some rain. Man, I think this is just tea, but I'm like seeing double. I don't know what's going on here. Hey, when y'all get in here tonight, man, let me know y'all are here. Drop me a comment. Let me know you've arrived. I see a couple comments starting to come in now. We got Big John, Brian Howell, 6 Mile. JC, what's up, big dog? Awesome, man. Appreciate you guys joining us tonight. Hey, do me a favor. Hit those thumbs up as y'all come in. Boy, our screen looks a little blurry, doesn't it? Here we go. Let's see if we can fix it real quick. How about that? Is that any better? Am I even uglier now? Perfect. J-Bo's in the house. We got a couple announcements early on tonight we got to make with Zach Watts, John Dendy, Vic Pearsall. All you guys, appreciate all y'all joining us. All right, keep the comments coming, man. I want to hear some questions tonight. I want to answer your questions. I'm going to talk to you guys about what my game plan would be if I was going fishing this weekend, what my game plan will be going into tomorrow. So we're going to discuss all of that. Also got a few announcements we need to make right off the bat. We got Justin Long fishing in the house, Tom G, Andrew, I can't say your last name, Kevin Morgan. So, we're getting really close to kind of what I consider the end of my year. Every year, once we get to August, I take a few weeks off the water. Well, I wouldn't say off the water, a few weeks off from guiding. And this year, for the first time ever, I'm actually going to take a few weeks off from producing content. So I'm actually going to take a full-on, for the first time in years, real vacation, no work for about 3 weeks for me. So every year, kind of August 1st is the end of my year. And then I look at the last week or two of August and maybe the first week or two of September is kind of like my preseason. And then by the time I hit mid-September, that's like the beginning of my year. And then my year goes until the end of the next July. That's kind of just how I've always done it. It allows me to hang out with my kids before they go back to school, which who knows what that's going to entail this year, but it still allows me to have some time with my kids. So that is that's what I'm going to be doing. So you guys will get content this week. Obviously, you already got that. So next week's content will be the last content you see from me for a while. But don't worry, we got you covered. If you want your East Texas local bass fishing fix, my boy Zach Watts is going to start his own YouTube channel, and it's going to launch the first week of August, which will be the first week that I'm not putting content out. So that will be called Fish Life Outdoors, L-Y-F-E, Fish Life Outdoors. So go look that up. The first week of August, subscribe. I'll post some links to it once it gets going on Facebook and different media outlets. Probably post some here, do a live stream or something and post one here. But we'll get you guys linked up to where y'all can find Zach's channel. We'll make it as easy as possible. He's going to have some really fun content coming out. It'll be from a perspective of a dude that's like most of you guys are, weekend angler, just going out and doing his thing and kind of taking you guys along for the trip. And Zach's a hoot, man. Zach's a little bit not right in the head, so he's fun to follow along with, you might say. Also, one other announcement I want to make is our boy Jonathan Bowling, who's been down here at Lake Fork all year this year, is going to be moving back up to his home lake of Broken Bow over the next couple months, and then he's going to be getting into waterfowl season, which he's really adamant on. So John is going to be running guide trips starting this next week or two on Broken Bow going forward until he gets to waterfowl season, so he'll be back up there. So Broken Bow, man, when it gets hot summertime, those fish school up like crazy. You can catch really big numbers of fish up there, and John's as good as anybody on that pond. So if you guys want to get on Broken Bow, reach out to John on Facebook. You can still even contact us through Your Lake Fork Guide, and if you want a Broken Bow trip, just send us a message asking for it, and we'll get you to John. We can get you over there to him either way. But want to say thank you to John for working with us this year down here on Lake Fork, and also, man, congratulations, great job. He absolutely whacked them in his first season down here on Fork, and I know he'll be back once waterfowl season's wrapped up. I'm sure he'll make his way back down here. I think that's the plan anyway. So, all right, let's get to talking about the game plan. Now we got a few of you guys in here. Do me a favor, keep hitting the thumbs up, keep commenting. Let's get a bunch of folks in here, and let's talk about some of the baits. So the game plan is really simple. For me, it's gotten to a point where y'all gotta hold on. There's some kids screaming outside. Hang on. All is okay. Panic attack for a moment. There was a kid screaming bloody murder outside my garage. I don't know if y'all picked up that or not, but it was my neighbor this direction. His kid, their dog, was wandering off to our neighbor's yard, and he was screaming for his dog. So kind of made me panic a little bit. I didn't know what was going on outside. So sorry for leaving y'all like that. Anyways, back to the game plan. The game plan, see, this live stuff, you can't make this stuff up, man. You can't make this stuff up. The game plan is pretty much transitioned into all offshore. I was doing a lot of shallow fishing up until the last week or two. I've really not even full 2 weeks. The last week or so really is when it's kind of transitioned. It really happened at the end of last week. So all my fishing that I'm doing right now is offshore fishing, using my electronics to find them. Few different ways to catch them, you know. Not any one way is best, so you kind of have to have an arsenal. A lot of it depends on how the school is set up when you find them. If you find them grouped up and relating to the bottom, then a shaky head seems to be the best deal. And if you don't have too much wind, that finesse shaky head, which a lot of the days lately will have wind and burst, but most of the day will be pretty calm. And that finesse shaky head, that quarter-ounce shaky head, with a 6.3-inch divine shaky head worm, all from 6 cents. You can find everything here at 6 Cents Fishing except for the reel that's loose. This is a 6 Cents Century Series rod, 7.1 medium heavy. I like this one. Also like 7.4 medium heavy for that little shaky head. They're both good rods for shaky head. But that's a 6-inch shaky head, 6 cents worm. I'm throwing the watermelon blue flake, watermelon candy, watermelon red, just green with some sparkle. Seems to be kind of the deal. But just dragging that real slow. That's the deal. That is a bait that you just can't fish slow enough. Like, the way to fish that bait is fish it as slow as you think you possibly can fish it, and then fish it about half that speed. It's a little bit painstaking, takes some time. The other bait that works really well when you find them relating close to the bottom is a Carolina rig, and I've made the switch over to the bubble fry now on the Carolina rig. I'm throwing a bubble fry. Every year once the water starts getting real hot, this chartreuse pepper bubble fry is the East Texas hammer, man. It really seems to shine when we get to the hottest part of the year on a Carolina rig. I know my buddy Bill Wilcox from Honey Hole can sure attest to that. That man's probably caught more fish and won more money than the rest of us will combined in our lifetime on that bait right there on a Carolina rig. So that's a great Carolina rig bait this time of year. Now, when I start to see these fish suspend a little bit, or even if they're not necessarily suspending, but they're scattering, they're not really wanting to group up, they're a little more scattered. We talked about this just yesterday on the channel. But man, this swim bait on a jig head's really been the deal. And this is the one I've been using the most. This one's actually, I don't know if y'all can see them teeth marks. See them little chew marks on there? This is the Divine Swim Bait in Pro Shad. It's a 1/2 ounce jig head, big hook. Love this jig head because it's got a really big hook, so you can really manhandle a fish in heavy cover. Or if you get them on round cover, you don't want to throw an open hook jig head in super heavy cover. But if you get a big fish on you around a brush pile, something like that, you can take control of them with this jig head here. That is the 4.4 size 6 cents Divine Swim Bait. So far, everything on this smash take bait right here is all 6 cents baits. So go order these baits up at 6centsfishing.com. When you do, punch in the code Your Lake Fork Guide, get a 10% discount on all orders. How deep? Somebody asked a good question. How deep are you fishing that jig head swim bait? Man, just whatever depth the fish are in. A lot of times here lately, it's been right around 20. You know, it was just a few weeks ago when the water temps were a little cooler and the thermocline wasn't really set up, or it was set up, but it was like a lot deeper. We were fishing 25 to 30 even. Now the fish seem to be kind of setting up around the 20-foot mark, give or take a couple feet either way, but they really seem to be settling in around the 20-foot mark. That being said, another bait that has kind of started working for me again here lately, and I'm not just catching a ton of fish on it, but when I do, I'm getting a big bite. The C25, 6 Cents Cloud 9 Series C25. Now, one thing about this one I'm throwing now that I've gone to, and I firmly believe this might be the reason I'm starting to get bit on it again, is I started throwing the silent C25. This one has no rattles. Sometimes that, on a highly pressured lake, these highly pressured waters we have on Lake Fork in East Texas, having a silent moving bait can be a big deal sometimes to get some bites from fish that normally wouldn't bite. So I think that might be the reason I'm starting to get, because there was a while where I wasn't getting crankbait bites anymore, hardly at all. Switched over to the silent one, started getting a few bites again on the crankbait. So it can be a good way to take some reluctant fish that are a little more scattered, get that thing banging around down there, get it deflecting, causes a reaction bite from a fish that wouldn't probably otherwise bite. And last but not least in my offshore arsenal is going to be the big spoon, big flutter spoon. It's the Joe Space flutter spoon, the Jumbo Joe size. It's the biggest one he makes, a 7-inch. That's the color I'm throwing. That color is no longer for sale, so you can't get that exact one. But the two that I really like are the pearl chrome, just the silver sticker on the silver blade, and then also I like the blue chrome, so the blue sticker on the chrome blade. I like those two as well as this one right here. Again, scattered fish, suspended fish, this is your deal. It's not getting a ton of bites, but usually when you get bit on this, it is a big one. Now, you will, if you get around sand bass, the sand bass are going to tear you up on these spoons. They'll slap at it and catch a treble hook and get foul hooked or whatever. But when you catch a largemouth on this, it's usually a pretty darn good fish. So that's how I'm doing it, man. You know, I really like this swim bait. We talked about this yesterday in the video, but I really like this swim bait in that scattered scenario because swim baits just have more drawing power than any other bass fishing lure you'll ever throw. And this offshore bait is no different. This offshore jig head is no different. When those fish are scattered, I firmly feel like it kind of causes those fish to follow it, which causes them to group up a little better, which causes them to start biting in numbers. If you watched the video Wednesday, you couldn't exactly see this the way the video was edited, but when we put up on that school, as good as that school looked, we didn't get a bite for about 20-30 minutes. Then we got a bite from a swim bait, and that first fish, like some of those fish followed it to the boat when we caught that first one. You could see them on the front grab. And then 5-10 minutes later, we got the second bite. Then once we got the second bite, it was on it. Like that swim bait just pulled all those fish together for us really tight and got them biting. All right, let's get to some questions. How much can we expect our bites to drop off? Well, I can't even read that, Juice. How much can we expect our bites to drop off throwing the 6-inch deep swim baits versus the 4.5 and 4.8s? It depends on the lake you're on. It depends on the school you're on. If the school you're on has big fish in it, it doesn't hurt to throw the 6-inch hollow belly. I love throwing the big 6-inch hollow belly on a 1-ounce jig head. You know, I do this a lot with customers. It's a lot easier to handle, a lot easier to fish. It's not as intimidating for some people to throw that size of a swim bait versus a bigger swim bait. So it doesn't really, I mean, you get bites on the big one. You just need to be around the right quality fish. If you're around a school of 2-pounders, there's not very many of them are going to bite that bigger one, you know. He said Scotch. I hear you, buddy. Kevin Morgan, his birthday's on Saturday. Happy birthday, Kevin Morgan. What size hook on that bubble fry? I like to throw it on a 3/0 EWG is the hook I like to throw the bubble fry on. By the way, those spoons, you can find those spoons online. SmashTechBaits.com actually sells those big flutter spoons online, as well as the bubble fry, of course. And also Lake Fork Marina has those flutter spoons on their website as well. Kevin Morgan says he wants one of these hats. These Lake Fork 6-cent hats. These are actually on the website. Again, go over there to 6centsfishing.com, order them up, punch in that code, your Lake Fork guide, get that discount. A bunch of guys talking about the Trump parade on Ray Hubbard. There's going to be like a Trump rally support parade or whatever on Ray Hubbard Saturday. And a couple of my favorite knuckleheads are going to be there. Mr. Cody Brunet and Mr. Z to the Dub will be there. Z-Dub may even be filming a segment for his new channel out there while he's doing it. So y'all go find Z-Dub, track him down in that old black and white Skeeter, and wave at him. Maybe you'll get on the channel. All right. Man, we need some questions tonight. We need some questions. I don't see too many questions. All right. I mean, y'all drop some questions down here at the bottom. I think I scrolled back through most of them. Little Gary or Big Gary? Man, You know, that bait does not go good on the deeper. For me, that gizzard shad, Little Gary, Big Gary is our nickname for those that don't know, for the gizzard shad from Smash Tech. And there's a big one and a little one. And now there's a medium. There's a 5, 6, and 7 inch one. But that bait doesn't go well on that jig head. It doesn't act right. It doesn't fit the jig head right. I really only throw that bait weedless and shallow. So primarily I'm throwing that bait in the spring and fall. Andrew, hope that answers your question. Have I tried the ridge worm from 6 cents? Yeah, I have. I've had the ridge worm since April, actually. It is really good on a shaky head. I didn't know until Tuesday they had released it, or I'd have been talking about it a whole lot more. That ridge worm is very, very, very good. It's a new worm from 6 cents. It is awesome. Was out there filming today. Thought I saw you, but wasn't sure. I wasn't filming today. I'm actually filming tomorrow. Actually, you guys will see the video that I'm filming tomorrow. I'm actually sneaking out. It's going to be the last video of my year, which, again, my year ends August 1st and kind of restarts in September, or at the end of August, I should say. But this will be my last video for this season for me, that I'm filming tomorrow. And I'm actually sneaking off for the first time all year to a private lake. So I'm going to go fish a private lake close to my house. It's fairly big. I don't have any experience on it whatsoever. I've been told a lot about it. I've heard about it for a long time. It's right here in Van. And I'm really looking forward to fishing it. I'm going out by myself, no help. So I love doing that. Yeah, it's a private lake, but it's a big body of water. And I get to go out to a lake that I have zero knowledge of, zero preconceived notions of, and see if I can put the puzzle piece together during the dog days at the end of summer. And of course, we're going to take you guys along and tell you the story. So we should have, I mean, I was really proud of the content we did this week with that young man. That 14-year-old caught a lot of fish. He got to learn a lot that day, I think. So I was really happy with the way this week's content came out. And then now, hopefully, this will be a really cool learning experience for me, hopefully. And I'll get to share that with you guys. It's what I love to do. Tell those stories the best I can in my limited capabilities. And hopefully, something we figure out tomorrow maybe can help you guys figure something out on y'all's place as well. And should be some really good content. I'm looking forward to filming it, and hopefully we'll make a really good video for you guys to kind of end my late 2019, mostly 2020 season. Thoughts from you on how bass champs went over the weekend relative to the number of overs caught? Yeah, they whacked them last weekend in bass champs. They caught 21 overs. That's a lot. Now, 1,800 anglers, I mean, that's a lot of anglers. I think everything kind of lined up right. I think what happened was we had, because it wasn't fishing that good kind of until that tournament happened. It kind of happened at not often does tournament day line up where you catch them on a day where things line up right. It's very rare that happens on tournament day, but I think that tournament caught it right because we had such extreme heat leading up to that event that it caused a pretty significant, I shouldn't say drastic, it caused a very significant rise in water temps. And what that did was really, for the first time all year, group those fish up in big numbers in the predictable areas. And therefore, everybody that was fishing those predictable areas, because everybody's an offshore fisherman these days with modern electronics, they just lined up where they caught them. They caught them real good that day. And I don't know, you hear a lot of people, out of 1,800 people, there's a lot of people that struggled. But the guys that were on them, were on them. And that's typical for summertime. So let me tell you what happens this time of year. You go out sometimes, you get a little morning bite. Right off the bat, you catch some numbers. Pretty good, just good fishing early, first hour, whatever. Then the grind starts. And you might go hours without a bite. It happened to us on our video we filmed. You might go hours without a single bite. And then all of a sudden you find that right school on one of those predictable areas and you lean on them. For a brief period of time, usually, not a real long period of time. Sometimes you get lucky and it lasts a while. But when you find that right school on one of those good areas, you can stroke them. You can dump the clutch on them and get after them when that happens. And I think that's what happened in that tournament, because it seemed like, yeah, there was a lot of overs caught, but there was also a lot of guys that struggled. That is late July, August fishing in East Texas. That's what it is. It's groups of fish. A lower percentage of the water has fish in it, but the percentage that does have fish has a lot of them. So when you find them, man, do you catch them? And that's kind of what I think went on there. I'm already booked up in late October. Actually, the last week of October, I have 2 dates available the last week of October. I think we've been booking quite a few October trips. I could be wrong. There might be another date somewhere in the middle of the month. I think I just have the 2 dates. The very last week of October is all I have left for October. Now, November, we got some dates. November is very good fishing. But yeah, October's booking up. So get with us quick if you want an October trip with myself. How good are the 6 cents monthly boxes? I think so. I feel like I spent a lot of time sitting here telling you guys 6 Cents is the best bait company on earth. I mean, I kind of believe that. There's a reason I work with them, right? Like, there's a reason that I signed on to do the 6 Cents deal, and I'm staying with them for eternity. I've had other companies make me offers. To be quite frank with you, I've turned down better deals from other companies to stay with 6 Cents because I believe in their product, and I just don't want to fish anything I don't believe in. Plus, it helps that they're a Texas-owned company, and I know the people personally, and they're good people, family. I like supporting that too. But the bottom line is, I got to use the best baits I can because it's my job to put fish in the boat, either on camera or for customers. I'm really proud of what they do with their subscription boxes, and I'm gonna tell you why. They give you the option to really customize your subscription box for your area and the way that you fish and the type of lakes that you fish. You can go get that custom box, and it's going to be tailor-made by people that know fishing very well. Are going to handpick those monthly subscription boxes for you. So I think they probably do a better job of it than anybody else does. That's my opinion. So. Will fish go deep on a muddier lake like Eufaula in Oklahoma, 1 to 2 feet clarity? Yeah, excuse me. So when you get this hot, it becomes all about oxygen, and deep becomes a relative term. We're starting to see it already. We'll continue to see it throughout the month of August as things really heat up. The hotter it gets, the less oxygen content is in the water. The fish, even the offshore fish, will push to shallower structure to get the oxygen content. So in a muddy lake, it's really going to depend on oxygen. If there's current, they'll tend to be able to live shallower when there's current because that churning water will provide oxygen for them. If there's not a lot of current and you got dirty water, they're going to have to do something to find oxygen. So the dirtier and more stagnant that water is, they're going to tend to live more shallower. I will say they do tend to stay shallower on a dirtier lake. Now, I don't know Lake Eufaula in Oklahoma. I hear what you're saying, 1 to 2 feet visibility. That's enough visibility for them to go deep. For sure, it is. They can go, 15, 20, whatever, in 1 to 2 foot visibility. And the probably the correct answer is probably some of both. Lake Fork is very much this way. There's always shallow fish and there's always deep fish. There's bigger percentages in some versus the other at times, but there's always some of both. So for me to sit here and say, no, they're not going to go deep, there's going to be some deep fish on a lake like that. There should be, I would think. That's a very difficult question to answer without having been on the lake. Cody Mays in the house. What's up, big dog? Good question here. Your deep swimbait fish, are they being caught off of the bottom, or are they suspending? Yes. So I like that swimbait a lot, but primarily right now when I'm picking it up is when I see fish scattered. And often when I'm seeing fish scattered, I'm seeing some on the bottom, I'm seeing some suspended. What I'm doing, the way I'm fishing it, is I'm throwing it out there, letting it get all the way to the bottom, and then just kind of slow rolling it. And basically what I love about that swimbait is it covers the depth column and it covers water. It covers scattered fish better than anything else, really. So if there's fish suspended up here, but there's some down here, right? And I throw that swim bait out here and it lands on the bottom, and I start retrieving it slowly back to the boat. See how it's going to climb through all that water column? it's going to slowly climb, and it's going to cover all those depths, and a swim bait makes them come to it better than anything else does. So whether they're suspended or on the bottom, they will track that swim bait. They'll come off the bottom and they'll come down to it. And that's why it seems to be so effective when you get in that scattered scenario. So to answer your question, some of them are coming off the bottom and some of them are suspended fish. Mostly they're coming to that swim bait, and that's why it's so effective. Jackson says he needs to ask me something. No better time than now. Let it rip, Tater Chip. Let's go. Jared Carson's he's a high school football coach. He said 2 days left of fishing before football kicks off. Got to get those fish live spots. Yeah, my man, go out and hit the fish live spots. Catch them up, Big Jared. Man, hey, Jared, we appreciate what you do. I know for me personally, I sincerely appreciate what you guys do as football coaches. I know football coaches had a big role in my life in helping me become a young man that stayed out of trouble and tried to do the right thing to the best of my ability. So I really appreciate all you guys that are high school football coaches and all that, man. You guys are very important in the role y'all play in young men's lives. I don't like fishing, but my son loves it. What do I do? You know, we do a lot of things for our kids that we don't like, right? You know what I'm saying? Like, I would say that you should start learning how to fish and go with him every chance you get, because you may not like fishing, but your son likes it. And on the creeks is always better than on the streets. So I would just find a way to try to enjoy what you can with him. Get out there and spend as much time on the water as you can with him. And who knows, you may learn to kind of like it. It is a fun thing, and it's nice just being out there and you know, being away from the hustle and bustle of everyday life. You'll have a good time. I promise you. You get your son out there on the water and he gets hooked up on a few fish, y'all will both enjoy it. I promise you that, my man. He's way better than you. That's not bad. I mean, that's okay. He can be better than you at something. I mean, my kid's way better than me at Fortnite. You know what I'm saying? But, like, I play video games with him and he kicks my butt. Late Arrival says, is a shallow bite or deep bite better? I've been doing all deep lately. All right, man. You know what I love when you guys get into all these conversations? It makes it a little bit hard for me to keep up with the questions, but I love when y'all have your own conversations. COD Warzone. So when I do play video games with my son, I make him play Call of Duty. But we go back to that old school, like first Modern Warfare, because that's the one that I used to play once upon a time. It's like 10, 12 years old, whatever it is. All right. I think I've answered most of the questions. I may have missed some. There's a lot of conversations going on. But yeah, man, hey, the guy that was asking about, just take him, dude. Just get out there. You won't regret any of the time you spend on the water with your children. I know that. I know that. Do I know what sucks? I don't know. No, I don't know what sucks. My life's pretty good, I guess. All right, boys, I'm going to go ahead and wrap this up, man. Hey, appreciate you guys joining us. Join us next Thursday. We'll be live right here at 8:30 again. Also, Tuesday, we'll be live on Facebook. It'll be the last week that we do the top 5 baits for a few weeks. I'm going to take a few weeks off, man. I hope y'all understand. I appreciate all the support you guys always give us. It's been another outstanding year at your Lake Fork Guide, man. We've had a lot of fun. We've caught a lot of fish. We're going to take a little break in August, and we'll crank it back up at the end of August and going into September. So, man, appreciate you guys so much, and we'll see you next time right here on your Lake Fork Guide.